Vic, the first two games took you a little bit to kind of get going. Did you feel like you were letting it all of that out tonight?
Sure, yeah. First two games didn't exactly necessarily show how my preseason went because it was really good, and both scrimmages I played really well, so it didn't show. But I mean, I'm mature enough to handle it the right way, and yeah, now it started paying off.
Dan, you guys holding the 5 of 23 from outside today. It was really clinical perimeter defense, just in terms of rotations and what you were able to do with a couple of steals. Has that been kind of what you are trying to make your mark this early part of the season with what you've shown on defense and how you've improved there this offseason?
Yeah, man. Every day we come in and coach really enforces defense, like really hard for us. And we know if we come with that, offensive rebounds and rebounding and defense, we know we'll end up with a W.
Vic, UIC and Detroit Mercy fielded kind of smaller lineups. Eastern Washington has center Ethan Price. Did that true big-on-big matchup allow you to kind of get into your bag and attack with your usual game plan?
Yes, but not just that. So coach emphasized this game as there are better teams that we ever faced, maybe exception of Maryland in a scrimmage, and I just not necessarily changed my mindset, but adjusted to that, and I'm like, all right, we can't lose that one. They're just beginning of the season, so yeah, just having coaches us preparing us and making sure we're locked in. I got locked in, so yeah.
Was there a sigh of relief when that first three goes down and you can start putting them up?
It did not feel good, I will tell you that, but it went in. I'm like, all right. Second one felt good. I made it. If you saw it before I went in, I started celebrating.
Yeah.
And then third one also felt good, just came a little short. So hopefully, after the first game, my confidence a little got down, but coach believed in me. I believe in my work, what I've done. So we'll see more of them coming games.
Yeah.
Career high for you, Vic, tonight, 26, 9 of 12 shooting. You mentioned the threes there a couple minutes ago. Just talk about what was working for you that allowed you to get going on the offensive end tonight.
First of all, my teammates found me. Coach drew the first play for me. So, and since I started shooting threes, it was hard for me to readjust my game a little bit because I started feeling it, and I'm all the time on the perimeter now, which happened probably in first two games more than it should happen. So now I'm trying to figure it out to still be me, Viktor Lakhin, and then trying to find the threes. Because if I'm just being on the perimeter, it takes away a lot from the game and the paint. So I just got myself going in paint, find easy buckets, one-on-one in the post, stuff like that. Teammates found me, and then coach chose the play for me to shoot. So everything worked out today.
Dan, does Day-Day try to dunk on people in practice like that, or is that just a game thing where he's hunting bodies?
He's really quick, man. Day-Day is really quick, and I believe anybody he can get by, he's going to go up and try to dunk on you no matter what. And, yes, he gets those off in practice for sure. I don't know who he dunks on. I ain't going to say no names. But
Yeah, he didn't dunk nobody yet.
Not nobody yet, but it's coming, though. But, yeah, you'll see a lot of that from Day-Day this year.
With Jizzle, I mean, can you just see game by game it's already slowing down for him? He's picking things up fast.
Yeah, Jizzle's a hard worker, so he's going to get it good for real. He's every day in the gym grinding. He believes in coach, and he believes in his work that he puts in a lot. And every game you'll just keep seeing progress. And the whole team believes in him. The coaches believe in him, so that helps him as well.
Dan, Vic, either one of you guys, did the defensive looks they were giving you guys kind of throw you for a loop a little bit? Look like they were throwing a nice mix of that high zone throughout the most of the game.
Nah, not really. We really stayed poised together. We believed in our controlling the ball and handling it and making smart plays and stuff like that. So that really worked out for us.
Did you guys anticipate them taking away the three as much as they could today to try to limit you guys from outside?
I mean, yeah, but we just believed in hitting the easy passes, not trying to force things, and we knew we were going to get good shots from that.
Seems like you guys were able to get downhill and attack early, just couldn't find the ways to finish there in the first half. What was working to allow you guys to get downhill and get to the rim?
Just spacing and people off the ball doing the job and stuff like that. So just playing the right way.
Taking over every question.
He's looking at me, so I don't even know. Go ahead, Vic.
You're good.
Vic, how good is it to see John, a guy you've been here with for a couple years, starting to really get back into his form?
Great. I love John, and especially some of y'all were in a Big 12 media day, and you were talking about that Coach Miller praised him. in a scrimmage game, and he was one of the better players. He was not one of the better players in preseason. So now he started picking it up, and I'm very happy for him. Like, that it's right time happening for him. So I'm really happy for him, really, really happy, because I've been in his shoes, and I know how hard it is to miss a year. Be just, I don't know, it's just very hard for an athlete to see other practice, and you just, I mean, it just, you want to cry, literally, because, like, it's what do you do, what do you live? Like, another good example, I'll just a little personal story. I said I'm mature enough to not get those 2 games get over me, get bigger than me. But that's what we do. And I'm like falling asleep. I'm like, damn, I didn't play well. You know what I'm saying? So like, it is really hard to be a basketball player and not play. That's why we leave. So I'm really happy for John.
Also, to piggyback on that, I'm really proud for John, too, because when he went through that injury last year, he stayed positive with the team on the bench last year. He was picking us up. He wasn't pouting, and he was being that leader off the court, too. And now coming back this year, seeing him play so well, playing so hard, and looking so healthy, we all really love to see that from John, and really proud of him and happy for him. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Every game, 3 for 3.
Vic, Coach talked about how you guys were struggling rebounding the first 2 games. Now he wasn't happy with the technique, but you get 10 tonight, 5 on each end. Did he challenge you specifically to try to have a better night?
5 on offense and 6 on defense.
11.
Yeah, I knew he was going to
Apologies.
You're good. I'm just teasing. Yeah, I mean, it's, being honest, just to give away my little tricks, it's harder for me to rebound against taller players because I shorter players get in my legs, and it's hard to get around. So once I guard in the guy my size, it's a little easier to rebound. But also ball was just lucky, I guess, and I just dropped it in my hands a couple of times. So he thinks so, but no.
Any other questions for the guys? Thank you.
All right.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
one.
guys. Thank
Go
you.
Bearcats, baby.
Let's go.
Whatever it was. Well, I said this on the radio here a second ago. I think sometimes in college basketball, and this isn't anybody's fault, just is what it is, but you know, the name on the front of the jersey, we put too much value into that when we're thinking about who's good and who's not. Eastern Washington may not have that national type name. That's a really good basketball team. I mean that. I'm sitting there watching the game against Ole Miss Friday night after our game against Detroit, going, who the hell's the head coach that scheduled this game to start the year? I mean, that's a really good basketball team that has a system, an identity. You know, their system and their identity fit the parts. Like it's a program. And then you look back and they won 18 games in a row at one point last year and won their league. They're a good basketball team. So forget the name. It's a good basketball team. When you beat a good basketball team by double figures, that's a good win. So I'm pleased with that. You know, obviously, I'm glad Viktor decided to show up to play for us this year in the 23-24 season. I'm saying being sarcastic, but he had a really good preseason, a really good offseason. He's really improved, and I've got to see that most days in practice. I'm glad everybody else that was watching got to see that today. So I was pleased with his performance. I thought Jizzle gave us some really meaningful minutes. I think at times the first 2 games you're going, come on, Jizzle. I don't want to play you to give you experience. I want to play you because you help our team. Today he helped our team. It wasn't just getting a freshman point guard some experience. He helped our team today, and that was really good to see. I could keep going kind of down the list, but I thought it was a good win. I thought we had a chance, you know, to really bust it open up into the 20-point-plus lead there and just made some silly plays defensively. You know, couldn't convert a couple shots or easy shots around the basket. And, you know, so that was a little bit disappointing. We weren't great on the free throw line. I hated this on the offensive board tonight. And we only had 3 at halftime, and 3 of them, and those were all 3 Viktors. So everybody else had as many rebounds as I did on the offensive board in the first half. So I was displeased with that, but I think with this new team and young team and without 2 really key pieces that aren't playing for us right now, you know, I was pleased in the short turnaround to come out and put it together for us.
defensively without Aziz and Jamil, is there a different? Do you have to shift the mentality, the focus? Because it looks like running teams off the line, like being a little bit more aggressive on the perimeter, has been in play the first couple games.
Well, I think if people have followed the teams that we've coached for now a significant period of time, we've always placed a huge emphasis on guarding the three-point line. You can look at the analytics. Like, I'm not giving anything away because anybody that just looks at the numbers go, we've made an emphasis of that for a long time. It's a lot easier when you have when you have Aziz and Jamil as a part of your front line with Odie and Vic, because when you're running people off the line, it's a hell of a lot scarier with those guys standing down there. So I think that's something we value defensively, and we value it in recruiting, which is why we recruit guys with great length and timing and size, not just at the front court positions, at all positions, to be quite honest. And so, yeah, I think it'll be a lot better defensively if Aziz and Jamil were out there.
Viktor goes 9 of 12 tonight, plays solid defense as well. Is this kind of the full package game that you as a staff and you as a coach expected to see from him at times this season?
Well, I thought the first thing with him was he finally established himself around the basket tonight early in the game. That's the thing that we all know he can do. He finally did it. Scored around the basket, got the 3 offensive rebounds in the first half. And so that's the one thing that I've been really frustrated in the first 2 games. I actually called him a couple days ago after our first game against UIC, and I said, we're up here having arguments as a staff of different plays we got to call to get the ball inside. And I said, we don't have time to put new plays in right now. I finally just called him. I said, it's a stupid argument we're having as a staff. You need to post harder, run the rim and post harder early in transition, roll and seal better. There's all these opportunities to get post catches in our flow. You need to just damn do it so we can get back to establishing you around the basket. And he made a concerted effort to work on that in practice this week, and it was good to see that happen. Then in the second half, I told him, I said, I'm not going to say you're not playing hard, but I want you to play harder. Like, it's time for you to play harder, and I'm talking defensively. And then I thought Odie really set a tone with a couple effort. We got the block, and he's in the timeout just huffing and puffing. And I looked at everybody. I said, we all got to play as hard as Odie. And I thought Vic went out after that, and that's the hardest I've seen him play defensively in a segment in a game this year. And then things really came to life, and we pushed that lead out. And then obviously the last part of Vic's performance tonight that I liked was, you guys hadn't been believing me that he shot it so well all preseason. He finally makes the 2 threes. I just wanted to be as happy about a defensive stop as he is about making those shots. But it was good to see because he spent a lot of time working on that.
Kind of going off of that, did you see him more comfortable having that true big-on-big matchup finally, or was it just the mindset change that led to that increased performance tonight?
No, I just think mindset and being intentional about it. We pride ourselves on being a program that develops players. And I think there's so much more to development than just doing skill and drills. And everybody does a bunch of skill development in college basketball. But developing players is about letting players grow, try new things, add to their games. Like, that's one other piece of it. And so what's interesting, doing this now 13 years, Vic's starting to develop a perimeter game, shooting it, making more decisions on the perimeter. And you see this trend all the time. When a guy that's always played around the basket and had success starts to add that perimeter dynamic, they fall in love with it a little too much right away because they've never done it or they get too focused on it. It's a natural progression. So it's like, okay, Vic, you've got this extra part to your game. You're a much better player out there. You can shoot the ball. You can make decisions. But don't lose what got you here and what made you Vic Lakhin. And I think that's the progression that I knew we'd see this early in the year. He established himself in the areas he's always been good. And then now some of that extra stuff comes to play, and he's a significantly better player. That's part of the development process.
He talked about at media days about having that good balance between inside and outside. Is this kind of the balance that you want to see from him?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Eastern Washington's biggest run was only 5 points. I think that occurred early in the first half. Was there anything special you're doing to help limit those runs?
We're trying to run the floor, and I think when we do run the floor correctly and make the right decisions with the ball, it looks pretty good to me. I don't know what it looks like to all you guys watching, but we're dynamic in the open floor on the possessions that we do what we're supposed to do. Every once in a while we try to do something we shouldn't do, usually with the dribbling the basketball, right? Or guys don't run. You don't get all 5 doing their job running. And so that's the inconsistency of our running game. But I think what's neat is when we're actually doing the things that we practice, we're having a lot of success in the open floor. We just got to get to more consistency. I know you talked about runs, and I'm talking about our running game, but I do think they go hand in hand a lot of times.
11 points, 5 assists for Day. The talk coming into the season was he was a guy that had never yet played Division I basketball. Through 3 games, are you happy with what you're getting from Day so far?
Yeah, and Day-Day's going to be great. I've said this every time I've been interviewed. We got the right 2 guys. They're just young and inexperienced. And when I say young, Day-Day's not young in age and maturity. He's just young to this level of college basketball. Jizzle is young in age. Okay, so they're young in their own right and inexperienced, but they're the right 2 guys. Like, they're the right guys to lead this team at that position. These early games, Chad, are so important for them to do good things and get confidence and make mistakes so we can learn and teach. And that was what kind of went on there with Day fouling out. Like, it wasn't just a bad defensive play. It was now he fouls out and we don't have our point guard that's best at breaking pressure. So, no, I didn't think it was Day-Day's best night. I thought he put the ball in jeopardy a couple times early in the game. But, yeah, overall, I'm excited about him. And I was really, really pleased with Jizzle's play, which I already said in my opening statement.
Are you okay with him trying to dunk on somebody every 3 or 4 opportunities?
Well, like my college coach who was at practice this week, which was a real thrill for me, he used to always say, if you can't dunk, don't try. And I never tried. But Day can dunk, and so I'm okay with him trying, but he's got to make sure that we're converting at a higher level, right? Like, I really liked the play at the end of the half because I thought that was the right play. Like, it went down and out. There was contact. There's been a couple plays where it would have been nice for him to draw the help, which he did, and kick it because it wasn't a realistic finish. But I think that's part of his development as a player. So I do want him attacking. I do think he's going to have some highlights, which was close there at the end of the half. But there's a couple times, and you guys, I think this is what you're referring to, where he's just trying to figure out this level, that play that I could make in junior college, maybe it's a little different if they get there earlier.
Could you have done that with the trampoline?
Yeah, with a trampoline. Yeah, I was pretty damn good with the trampoline. It's the only reason I know what it feels like to be up there.
Wes, if I could go back to Vic, if you don't mind. This was a career night type performance just in terms of the counting stats. But even, putting the counting stats aside, the effort was there that you were talking about. It seems like it was a process to get to this point now. What are you telling Vic in terms of sustaining this level and this kind of output?
Yeah, just respond. I mean, we talk about responding every day. That's like a hot button word or value, daily value in our program is how we respond when things don't go well, how we respond when things do go well. And it's usually the same thing. Work a little harder, grow, improve. Like that, we got to respond. How quickly do we respond? So it'll be what the answer to your question is kind of what you just said. Like, let's not get happy. Like, let's respond to it, which means let's double down on the things that got us here. Let's not get fat and happy, and let's keep getting better. So if Dick played like hell today, played poorly, I'd have said, let's come in the gym tomorrow. Let's work harder and get better. If he had a career night statistically, I wouldn't call this the best game of his career, but statistically, I'd say the same thing, work harder and get better. We're going to respond to success and failure the same way.
Coach, when you kind of see the defensive strategy of Eastern Washington, them trying to run you guys off the three-point line and kind of playing that heavier zone look, was that something you felt like your team adjusted to well, given the 85-point output and the stronger second-half performance in terms of putting points on the board?
Did we feel like we adjusted well to the way they were defending us?
Yeah, in terms of just trying to force the offense to funnel inside.
They obviously, they were really, really aware of C.J. Frederick tonight. I didn't like that he only got 2 looks. Like, we got to figure out how to free him up a little bit more. And, you could see the zone kind of stalled us out a little bit, and I wanted our running game to be more consistent, so the zone didn't have any effect. Like we still got free looks in the open court running the floor. But what I noticed was we got to spend a little more time on zone offense. We'll do that this week. We need some more stuff against the zone to make sure he gets free, to get him some shots. And then they were switching back and forth, but the zone probably gave us more problems tonight than the man-to-man. I thought we missed a bunch of shots around the rim, guys. I mean, we scored 85, so you like that, but we missed a bunch of shots around the rim, that angled shots, quality shots. Dan Skillings felt like he missed 100 of them. It felt like, was it 100 or 110? I don't know, but he missed a bunch. Day missed some early. So I wasn't overly ecstatic about our offense tonight, but I do look down, and to get 85, you like that.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thanks.